Hey y'all, all right. You can see back at it on the Thermoquad. So I guess this is part 2 or 3 of the rebuilding the Thermoquad. And I just want to go ahead and say thank you so much for the likes and the shares and the subscribes. It's been awesome. Now over 2,070 subscribers, which is just crazy. Over 2,000 subscribers was crazy. But this much is, just just really throws me for a loop. But anyway, I seriously appreciate it. Always will. But let's get back to the video. Now, I went ahead and soaked all of my gaskets in oil. Reason being why I did that was so that I could get them to where they wouldn't stick to the actual um, carburetor. And I went through and cleaned everything very thoroughly. I matched up my gaskets, which is really super important. You want to make sure and match up all of the gaskets, because if you don't, you could wind up with a serious problem. Now, a lot of these kits, they will come with multiple gaskets to fit multiple different variations of the same carburetor, so don't be thrown off by that. As a matter of fact, there's like a whole, yeah, here's a whole series of these gaskets that don't fit. Okay. Oh, and another thing, while we're talking about the gaskets that come with the carburetor kits, I'm gonna use this thick gasket right here. Okay. See this one here. I'm gonna use the thick one. Reason being, why would I do that? Well, one, it's gonna seal better because it's thicker. And if you have variations in the flatness of the base of the carburetor or in the base of the intake where the carburetor mounts, you could have a vacuum leak if you use one of these thinner gaskets. So it's just something to be aware of. Now, you will see, most all the time, you will get 2 or 3 gaskets per per kit. It's like almost every single time. So, okay, I'm going to take one of these off and let you see what's in there. It's nothing really tremendously big. It's just I'm using an 11/32 wrench here, probably a 3/8. Let's see, do I have a 3/8 in here I can use real quick? No, 3/8 won't work. I tried a 3/8 earlier, so maybe a 5/16, but I don't have a 5/16 over here. So I got a 1/4 inch. Let's see. Yeah, 1/4 inch is too small, is what I thought. Okay. Anyway, so all you got to do, I've already had these out before, so these aren't going to be that hard for me. But let me clamp our camera stand to the. Okay, so all you got to do is they just unscrew, just like that. Okay. Looks like this one has a crack in it. Right there. Let's see. I'm not sure if that crack goes all the way through or not. Let's see if you can. Maybe it does. It's kind of odd that something like that would be cracked, but it sure appears to be cracked. So, get out my magnifying glass here real quick and just have myself a quick little look see. It is not cracked all the way through. That is such an unusual kind of thing right there. It almost looks like it's made into it. It's very. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I was trying to let you all see this. Okay, so normally I would replace this, but being that that crack is like so perfectly in line there and straight, I'm just gonna leave it for now. So anyway, that's this needle right here is what's inside there. Um, this this right here, the fuel comes in through this and comes out through here into the airstream. When the air comes through here and pulls, creates a vacuum, and it pulls fuel from these tubes. Okay, so you got see those holes right there? Now, okay, setting up the floats or installing the floats is tremendously easy. What you're gonna need to do, get your new needle and seat. I retained my old ones just in case, but which I always do. This one is probably, assembling this is probably going to be a multi-part series. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 parts just assembling this thing because there's a lot to it. And my camera stand decided to just all of a sudden fall. So there we go. Okay, now, all right, back to the needle and the seat assembly. Okay, so it comes with a little orange gasket. I oil it up because it's a paper gasket, which that's what I do with all of my paper gaskets. Lots of times is I'll just oil them up. Put the whole assembly down in there. And just a very wide flat tip screwdriver. And there you go. Just screw it in all the way. Put your needle in. Really simple. Then you get your float and its retainer. Wherever I laid it down at. Don't you hate it when you lay something down? You're like, I know I put it here just a minute ago. Well, oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Now, these floats are made a specific way to clearance everything. If you notice right here, you see this float has that cut off edge or corner. Okay, that's to clear this body here for the accelerator pump. So now what you do, come in from this side, you line up well, at least I think you do. Oh, had it upside down. Okay. Okay, yeah, get everything lined up. You may have to eyeball it too. Makes it easier. Good grief. There we go. Finally. Jeez. Okay, so finally I got that thing installed in there. But it's just a simple pin you just push through. You just got to get everything lined up. That's why it just seems to take forever. Okay. Now, all right. So next, I've already went ahead and just set this piece down inside there. It just, that's all it does. Just goes down inside there like that. I believe that's like a flow diverter. Okay. So next I'm just going to get the gasket out for the base and just set it down there on the base just so that gets it out of the way. Now, one problem with doing this with oil, though, is you will have a lot of excess oil. So, anyway. Now, it's not impossible to get these things turned around backwards or upside down. Pay attention to the gaskets because some of them will have notifications, we'll have notes on there as to where the gasket should be and, this side up or, that sort of thing. So be sure to pay attention to those. This one, I don't think it matters too much. All right. So there we go. There's that. Okay. All right. Now, something that's important is the setting of the floats, the adjustment. Now, your kit is going to come with, most all kits I've ever seen, they'll come with this doodad here. This is to help you set up the floats. Now, okay. And you can even use this, or you can use the manual. Usually, both of them are pretty similar. Float level adjustment. Okay. All right, so they require the gasket to be installed on here. So that shouldn't be that big of a problem. So here we go. I think we can just set the gasket down on here. Whoops. Yeah, see, just like I was saying, you gotta get it turned the right way. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna have to take that the floats back out because the gasket's got to go on first. Okay. So. There we go. All right. Very delicate, but okay. Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here because you've seen this part before, and it's just making the video longer. All right, y'all. Found the specs, and for the 340, which is like the closest thing to this 318, it's 1 inch. Um, for the 440s, it's like 27 30 seconds and 29 30 seconds. So, see, there we go. So I'm going to go with the 340 because that's the closest thing that I'm working on. So here's the float adjustment. Here's how you do it. You put the gasket on, and then you set your float and you take a measurement like that. As you can see, I'm right at 1 inch. And you check both of them, make sure they're both correct. If you wind up, you have one of them is out of adjustment, what you do is you bend that little tab there. You can also bend the arm here, but I prefer to bend that little tab. All I did was I just simply stuck my screwdriver in there and then just bent against this little shaft. You got to be really careful doing that though, because you can bend that shaft. And also these little pins or shafts, they go in this way. You can't take them in this way. I tried, it doesn't work. Okay, so all right, now while I haven't rebuilt any of these Thermoquads before, I have rebuilt quite a few AVS and AFB style carburetors, Edelbrock and Carter. So doing one of these shouldn't be that big of a deal. All right. So, all right, now my floats are set. That part is done. I'm not going to mess with that no more. But I am going to carry on with everything else. Like next, I'm going to install the squirters. Okay, they're the primary. They don't go in the set. They don't have one in the secondary. So I'll just go ahead and flip this guy over. The gaskets are going to stay right where they're at. This is going to be tricky trying to do all of this because there's several pieces I got to put in. I may just go ahead and put the base, the phenolic part. Let's see. I don't want to screw up the adjustment on my floats by resting this part on there. So put the gasket down in there first, and then put my squirter assembly in there. And let's see, I believe this is where things get a little tricky, trying to remember what screw went to where. So I think it was a smaller screw. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know it was. I'm not so sure it was that one. A lot of these hardware flash rusted on me, so it's just the way it goes. Don't like it, but that's just the way it goes. Alright, so got that in there. Of course, I think it goes without mentioning, but I'm going to say it anyway. Whenever you don't know what screw goes where, you're putting a screw in somewhere, make sure it threads in there with your fingers. You're not manhandling it in there, just cramming that thing in there and really tightening it down and all of that. Make sure you do it just gently. Okay. Now, another thing we're going to do real quick is I'm going to check the straightness of this. have this metal ruler, stainless steel ruler, and I'm just going to check the straight edge real quick. It's really easy to do. Doesn't take very long. All I'm going to do is just check this out. I'm just going to go through here, and I'm eyeballing it. So far, it's looking really nice. I don't see anything that's really questionable. So, bottom side, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm liking that. Liking it really well. Whoops, yep, there goes that little diverter. It just sits in there. It's not like bolted or screwed in there or anything. So it just sits in there, just like that. So see, just sits in there just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on there like that. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And then I'm gonna move this a little closer to me. Oh, you know, earlier I was trying to read what these jets are, and well, they just got lines on them. I don't see any numbers or letters or anything like that. I can get out my yeah, there's no numbers or letters. There's some numbers. There's usually numbers stamped in the tops of the jets, but then sometimes you'll see stuff on the sides stamped into them, but not these. No, these are they are without. So I think I'll go ahead and put the jets in. But first, I think I'm going to try and compare them to the jets from like some of my other carburetors. And let me go get the jets. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got one of the jets started. I tried to see if the jets from like, you know, an old AVS or AFB would work, or an Edelbrock would work in here. No go. They look like, these actually look like Holly jets, but then when you try to put them in, no, it ain't happening. So, yeah, they look real similar to a Holly jet, and then when you try to put the Holly jet in here, nope. The threads are just different enough. They won't go. They'll start, but they won't go. So it's a no-go deal there. So anyway, all right, well, enough of that. Got the jets put in. I'm going to go ahead and set the top on, and then I'm going to work on the choke plate, the air valve door, all of those, and get all of those put in here. And so, oh, wait a minute, almost forgot. Got to work on the accelerator pump. So here's my new one. Set this back there. Yep, here's my new one. So got to get that in. So it's going to go in its own little place, its own well and everything, which is just right here. Now, you want to make sure, nice and clean, of course. You want to make sure this is in good shape. Now, much older carburetors, this right here might be leather. If it is, You need to soak it in oil for some time, probably an hour or so. And then you want to put, once you get it soaked, then you want to put it back, then you can put it into the carburetor. The reason why you want to soak it, and you probably want to flare it out too. Reason why is so that you can make sure that it seals, has a good chance to seal to the bore that it has to work in. Okay, so what I'm talking about is right in there, and I put a little oil in there too to help things out, to help get it started. Okay. All right. So next, we need to put the brass base on it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I almost forgot. Gotta put spring in. The spring's next. Haven't looked at the instructions because I can't remember if an accelerator pump, which spring it uses. I do know you drive it out. So I got this little flimsy spring, but then I got this one here too. I got even another spring that came with the kit. Of course, they're not showing you anything. Let's see. In that exploded view, what's the book say? What's the manual say here? Let's just look at that. Thermoquad, exploded view. Does it show anything about that? Yep, it has the tapered spring like that. So, okay, there we go. All right. Now take that brass piece. I'm just going to take the handle of my screwdriver and just pound that on. So, yep, there we go. That got it. Yeah, it's just a interference fit, so it's not like tremendous tight or nothing like that. So it's not like having to press it with a hydraulic press or something. It's just really simple stuff. Okay. So all right, I'm just gonna turn this over and go ahead and set it in here. Okay. That's one of the old needles. Seat assemblies right there, so we'll just take that, turn it over, set it down on there. Still a long way to go. I still got a lot of stuff to do. Okay, I think I'm going to start with this choke plate next and get that thing put in. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil on these ends here. And the reason why is I don't want to assemble these things dry. I know a little oil is going to get down inside the carburetor. That's unavoidable. But I don't like these things being assembled just dry as a bone. Some people will do that. I don't, because I think that cat's in here again. Oh boy. Anyway, like I'm saying, well, yeah, this is easier said than done. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Trying to get these lined up. Okay, there we go. All right, I got one of them. Okay, I think I got both of them lined up. Maybe. All right. Wow, that screw is really, really long going in there. I mean, if it doesn't interfere with anything, I guess we're okay, but just need to make note of that because it may go in one of the other, it may go in this plate here.